Rachel had always considered herself a good person. She volunteered at her children's schools, she donated to charity, she called her mother every Sunday. She was a respected lawyer, a devoted wife, a caring mother. People admired her, trusted her, and looked up to her. But there was one truth Rachel had buried so deep, she had almost convinced herself it didn't exist. She hated her sister. Not the casual dislike some siblings feel, not the petty annoyances or occasional jealousy. Real hatred, the kind that festers in your chest and poisons every thought, the kind that makes you do terrible things while convincing yourself you are justified. And now, sitting in her pristine living room on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, Rachel's phone was ringing. Her mother's name flashed on the screen. She almost didn't answer. Something in her gut warned her that this call was going to change everything. Hello! Her mother's voice was shattered, barely recognizable. Rachel! It's Emma! Emma! She's gone, baby! Emma's gone! The world tilted. Rachel heard herself asking questions. How? When? What happened? But the answers floated past her like smoke. Suicide. Emma had taken her own life. 28 years old, and her little sister was gone. There's something else, her mother whispered through tears. She left a letter for you. The hospital says you need to come get it. Rachel told her husband she needed to go alone. The drive to the hospital felt surreal, like moving through water. Her mind kept drifting back, replaying moments she would spend years trying to forget. It had started too early. Rachel was 7 when Emma was born, and she remembered the exact moment everything changed. The nurse had placed the newborn in her arms, and Rachel looked down at her baby sister's face. Even as an infant, Emma was luminous. That's the only word for it. She's absolutely beautiful. Her grandmother had breathed, and Rachel had felt something cold settle in her stomach. Over the years, the coldness spread. While Rachel was pretty, golden curls, bright smile, the kind of child people called cute, Emma was something else entirely. Ethereal, the kind of beautiful that made people stop and stare. Rachel watched it happen everywhere they went. The grocery store, church, family gathering. People's eyes would slide past Rachel and lock onto Emma. Always Emma. Your sister is going to be a mother someday, relatives would say, while Rachel stood invisible beside her. By the time Emma was a teenager, the jealousy had transformed into something darker, something Rachel couldn't control anymore. At the hospital, the nurse handed Rachel a sealed envelope. Her hands trembled as she walked to her car, unable to open it under the fluorescent light and pitying stares. She sat in the parking garage, engine off, and finally tore it open. Dear Rachel, I'm writing this because my therapist said I need to speak my truth, and even if no one listens, especially if no one will listen. I've always known you hated me, even as a child. I felt it. I just never understood why. Do you remember when I was 16 and got that modeling offer? You told mom and dad it would ruin my education. You said I wasn't smart enough for both. I believed you. I turned it down. Do you remember when Jake Morrison asked me to prom? You told me he was spreading rumors about me, that he had made a bet with his friends. I stayed home that night while you went with your date. Years later, I found out Jake never said any of those things. You made it all up. Do you remember every college scholarship I got? How you convinced me I wasn't good enough? How you told me I would fail, embarrass the family, waste everyone's money? I believed you. I stayed home and worked at the grocery store while you went to law school. Every boyfriend I had, you poisoned. Every friendship you undermined. Every dream I voiced, you crushed. I'm just protecting you, you would say. I'm just looking out for you. The world is cruel to beautiful girls. But you weren't protecting me, Rachel. You were destroying me. I started therapy 6 months ago because I couldn't understand why I felt too empty. Why I hated looking in mirrors. Why I felt worthless, despite everyone telling me I was beautiful. Why I couldn't hold a job maintain a relationship, or believe in myself. My therapist helped me see the pattern, helped me understand what he had been doing all these years. 3 days ago, I came to your house. Do you remember? I finally found the courage to ask you why you hated me, what I had done to deserve it. And you laughed at me, calling it dramatic, accused me of victim mentality. That's when I knew the truth would never set me free, because you will never admit what you had done. You will never apologize. You will never even acknowledge it. I've spent 28 years to make myself smaller, quieter, and less beautiful. Anything just to make you love me, to make you stop hurting me. I erased myself piece by piece, and it still wasn't enough. So, I'm done trying. I want you to know this isn't your fault. You didn't kill me. I'm making this choice because I'm too tired to keep fighting, too broken to keep trying. But I need you to know what you did. I need you to carry this truth. You destroyed me because I was beautiful, because people noticed me instead of you, because you couldn't stand that I had something you wanted. The saddest part, I would have given it away in a heartbeat. The looks, the attention, everything, just to have you love me, just to have my sister want me around. I was never your competition, Rachel. I was just your sister, and I loved you. Even though you hated me, I loved you until it killed me. Goodbye, Emma. Rachel's vision blurred. The letter fell from her hands. No, this wasn't true. Emma was being dramatic, just like she had always been. Rachel she couldn't have. But the memories came flooding back, sharp, undeniable. Jake Morrison, she had made up those rumors because she had seen the way he looked at Emma with an ill no boy had ever directed at Rachel. The modeling offer, Emma could have made it, should have made it, but Rachel had poisoned the opportunity with carefully chosen words, subtle doubts planted in the appearance mind. The scholarships, God, the scholarships. Emma had been smart, not brilliant but capable, more than capable, and Rachel had systematically convinced her she was stupid, unworthy, destined to fail. Every boyfriend, every friend, every dream. Rachel has spent 28 years dismantling her sister's life, all while telling herself she was the good one, the protective one, the responsible older sister. The truth crashed over her like a wave. She had been a monster, a calculating, jealous monster who had tortured her own sister for the crime of being born beautiful. Rachel drove to the morgue on autopilot. She needed to see Emma one last time. Needed to, what? Apologize to a corpse, beg forgiveness from someone who couldn't hear her. They led her to the viewing room. Emma lay on the table, pale and still, finally at peace. And Rachel looked at her sister, really looked at her for the first time in 28 years. Emma was beautiful, it was true, but as Rachel stared at her sister's lifeless face, she realized something that shattered her completely. Emma's beauty had never been the problem. Rachel's ugliness had, not the ugliness of her face. She had been pretty enough, but the ugliness inside, the rot in her soul that has twisted every act of love into an act of violence. They had taken a gift, a baby sister, and turned it into a cause. She had spent her entire life hating Emma for something Emma couldn't control, couldn't change, and never weaponized. Emma had just existed, had just been herself, and Rachel had punished her for it every day. Now, Emma was gone. There would be no tearful reconciliation, no moment of forgiveness, no chance to take back the decades of cruelty, just a body, a letter, and the suffocating weight of truth that came too late. Rachel reached out and touched Emma's cold hand. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." But the words meant nothing. Sorry couldn't resurrect the dead. Sorry couldn't undo 28 years of systematic destruction. Sorry couldn't give Emma back the life Rachel had stolen from her piece by piece. Rachel had gotten exactly what some dark part of her had always wanted. Emma was gone. The competition was over. There was no one left to be more beautiful than Rachel. And as she stood there beside her sister's body, Rachel finally understood what Emma had written in her letter. Rachel hadn't just destroyed Emma, she had destroyed them both. Because now, Rachel would spend the rest of her life knowing the truth. The ugliest thing about their life had never been jealousy or rivalry or even hatred. It had been Rachel herself, and that was a truth she would carry to her own grave.